Very nice.
That's how to do meetings.
Yeah.
One of the benefits of doing the online meetings is that you can join from anywhere.
Exactly.
That's right. And we are officially good to go on the YouTube.
Okay, well, thank you, Gretchen. This is the May 25th meeting of the Awareness Campaign Task Force of the Human Rights Commission. My name is Kathy Ostran-Ponchen. My pronouns are she, her, hers. I'm the chair of the task force and member of the Human Rights Commission, and I will pass it to Tricarico.
Hi, I'm Tricarico. I'm a member of the task force and the member of the Human Rights Commission from Ward 2. My pronouns are they, them, and theirs, and I'll pass it to Gretchen.
Good evening. I'm Gretchen Bennett. I'm staff to the commission, and my pronouns are she and her.
Okay, well, the first thing on our agenda after welcome and introductions is public comment. Gretchen, are you aware of any public comment for tonight?
No comment that I'm aware of.
Okay, and moving on, approval of the minutes without a quorum. I don't think we can do that tonight. Is that correct? Okay. So the discrimination survey, I can give a quick update of what I know. Marianne said that, let's see, I think there were 827 completed surveys, although more than 900 had started the survey, but not finished it. They got past the screening questions, but wow. 827 completed with 208 paper surveys, which is actually a lot more than I expected, because I know at one point through the numbers were not that high.
Yeah.
And last year is very comparable to last year. Last year we had, I think, very similar numbers. It was 800 and something with 200 of them being paper copies. So I think that's great. The students will do their presentation report at the June 8th? June 8th meeting of the full commission. I will not be there, but I'll look at the materials beforehand and I'll try and watch the YouTube afterwards to see what the recommendations are and how the report is. And I think for our next meeting, we'll have a lot to talk about, hopefully with the results of that and figuring out what our next steps are as far as our communication, outreach effort, and education campaign. I did see some emails from Linnell to Marianne and probably to Gretchen. I think both were included with some maybe observations and suggestions about the survey. You know, it always sounds great until you actually are out there trying to administer it, and then it's like things seem awkward. One of the things that I can remember her mentioning was that when you ask, if you're doing a paper survey and you're asking somebody, you know, face to face, going through the questions, all the reasons provided for why someone might be discriminated against is quite a long list, and the housing status is not until the end of the list, and so it's a lot to get through. And so she has suggested moving that up on the list, and I think also changing the terminology a little bit. So that might be something to look at for next time. And I think there was also feedback that, again, people who don't experience discrimination really feel like they're not the appropriate audience and either decline to or need to be encouraged to complete the survey. And so that's something to look at. But yeah, I think the numbers are great. I haven't heard anything since then. So yeah. Gretchen, would you have any other comments or things that you can remember about the communication since then? I feel like it's been so long. I don't know. The last couple of weeks have, I don't know what's happened, but.
No, I agree. I think I'm in the same place of understanding that you are and appreciate your summary. On that last part about people who don't perceive that they've experienced discrimination not completing the survey, I think that's something we know and have talked about. Mm-hmm. If anyone thinks about sort of a remark or a quote, it's possible that we'll be asked when we anticipate the survey results being published, and it might be interesting to think about some sort of comment about that along the lines. So that just might be a place of discussion or something to consider.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't have anything more on the survey. Tricarico, did you have any questions or comments? Okay. Let's see, I think the next thing is the unsheltered communities. And obviously I think we need to, well, obviously, I think we need to wait until we get the survey results to see what they are. We know what the comments and results we got from last year. And also hopefully we'll have an update on the chapter 97 changes by then. I'm assuming that that might be coming back to the agenda of the full commission in the near
Yeah.
future.
Yeah.
Okay.
In fact, thank you for reminding me you won't be at that meeting with graduation. I will be certain to get the material to you in advance in case you have any feedback.
I'll
Appreciate
try.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll try and look at it before the meeting and let you know. The biggest thing was not related to the unsheltered, but to the definition of sexual orientation.
Yeah.
And I know what the city attorney's comments on that were, that there may be limitations depending on what's in state law, but when it comes to the unsheltered, I was really happy with what I had seen in that second draft.
Great.
So,
And stay tuned. When I started looking up the definition in state law, there's some questions. And so stay tuned. There may be a revision on that as well that came from the state.
Okay.
So,
oh, okay.
yeah. Yeah, if my memory serves me. I wanted to just offer you a couple of updates too on this category, if I may. The city saw the opportunity to conduct, or will be conducting, an interview with some youth who have experienced being houseless and then participated in a committee called Backbone, which helped shape some goals and objectives that are now shaping some new money that's coming into the region. And the communications team is in the process of building an interview to help amplify the experience of that youth voice and that segment of the population. So I thought that was interesting as it relates to, I know this committee has been discussing how do we increase an understanding of some of the reasons and the issues. Youth often can be misunderstood as sort of runaway or misbehavior, as opposed to some of the underlying core issues like discrimination or abuse at home that could lead to someone leaving. And so these are, I think it's an interesting little video that's going to be coming out. There's also an event coming up next week that you may have heard of that's a storytelling event featuring people with different lived experiences here in the Salem area. And it's going to be held at Willamette and hosted by Church at the Park. So I just wanted to mention that as well. It's another vehicle for sort of getting out some of those authentic experiences that people have, which can be really helpful with public education.
Yeah, I plan on attending the event next week. I had not realized it was coming up next week, but now that you mention it, I think I registered for it.
Yeah, I think it's Thursday. I think it's a week from tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I've got it on June 2nd. The Humanity of Homelessness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
So
I guess
did you already send out the link on that, Gretchen?
I can't recall, so I'll do that right after this conversation.
That'd be great. Yeah, I'd be curious about that one.
I'm just making a quick note here. Let's see. So, there might be some other events and things that I haven't, that I have seen, but that I haven't thought to pass on to the other members. And so if I come across any more, I can pass them on to Gretchen as well. There was, I'm trying to think of how long ago it was. There was a memorial, those 4 people who had been hit by the car and killed on Front Street a while back. There was a memorial for them, and I went to that. And Councilor Nordic was there, and she spoke a little bit. And I talked to her very, very briefly, but I followed up with her afterwards by email and kind of let her know about our plans for communicating with the unsheltered and the education campaign and all that. And so that's something that I might want to follow up. We might want to follow up with her about what our plans are and see if there's anything that she wants to do as well. Some of the comments that she was making at the memorial just made me think it seemed very appropriate to let her know what our plans are. And I know Linnell has done a lot of work as far as she's got a lot of written material that she has shared and collected over the years about different stories and things. And so I think when we do get ready to put something together, I think her work will be, and I believe she's willing to help us. I think her work will be very helpful as well. So we're not having to start from scratch necessarily. There's a lot that's already been done. And so it seems like maybe in our June meeting, if everybody's available and we'll have the results, and that might be more of a time to talk about, get a plan actually outlined as far as how to move forward.
Sounds good,
Yeah.
Kathy. There's also another memorial event you help me remember. Arches is hosting something. I can't remember the words that they've used to describe, but there's another event coming up related to the deaths there. And so I'll find that and send that as well.
Okay. So does that bring us to the June communication?
I think so.
Let's see, and on our communication plan, I know I have it open here somewhere.
I have it open too. If you like, I can try to share my
Please.
screen if that would help.
So what it says is the Sikh Parade, World Beat, Juneteenth, Pride, and Deaf Blind Awareness Month. And we'll have presumably survey results to maybe communicate
Oh, you're
at
right.
that time.
We should
Yeah.
have survey results.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say add the Salem Pride to August, but I think that's already on there.
I think it,
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. You're right. We'll have the survey results. Is that a natural?
I think that would definitely be something that we would want to put out there. And with World Beat, did we get enough volunteers to have a table?
I don't think so. I think
Okay.
we're still at 3 people with partial availability.
Dang.
I haven't looked at it in maybe 24 hours, but yeah. And lots of people have conflicts. I think there's people who would typically be able to do it, but it just happens to be a weekend of conflicts, it looks like.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Which
I'm
is
gonna be
unfortunate.
out of town for a wedding that weekend, so
Did anybody, was it the Radical Free Market? Was that this past
It was
weekend? Was anybody able to attend that?
Sunday. Yes, I wasn't able to go to that.
Okay.
No takers as well. A few regrets. People wrote in, I'd like to do that. This particular date I can't. So it seems to make sense to continue to try and to share for it. But
I think so. I think as things pop up, that would be a good opportunity. I definitely think we should ask. And I mean, it's hard. We seem to have fewer members than we once did as well.
Yeah, we have space for as many as 15. And if my memory serves me, we're down to 10 with one person fairly inactive. So I think that there's been a couple of recent applications that are before the mayor and appointments committee for consideration in June. So that could take us up a little bit again. But there's room for continuing to seek and recruit if you know of anyone that you think would be a good fit or some perspective that we don't have included yet.
I definitely think there's room for more. Well, we've had a couple of guests the last couple meetings.
Yeah.
And so as people show interest as well, that's it. I mean, I hope to see more people joining in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, both of the recent guests, if we're thinking about the same people, are applicants who have expressed a lot of interest. So
Good.
Those are positive applications. Yeah.
Good.
Well, I think that brings us to the end of the agenda. I mean, member remarks and announcements is the last thing. I don't know.
We're so efficient.
Did you have anything that you wanted to comment on? I mean, it's been kind of on my mind that we don't. I wish we could get more activity going as a full commission, but maybe that will happen as we get a couple more members, hopefully soon. So.
Yeah, I hope so too.
Yeah. But in the meantime, we get the survey. Yeah, and the work with the Safe Spaces program. I'm excited about that too. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, if there's not anything else, I guess we got it done in 15 minutes. So.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Kathy. I really appreciate your leadership on this.
Well, thank you for joining, and I can just adjourn, right? We don't have to have any formal action for that, do we?
You
Okay.
can. No, you don't. Thank you, though. I appreciate you checking. Yeah.
Well, enjoy the rest of your evening. Nice to see you both.
Very good.